world is changing, and so does change. But the mind has the potential to capture the changing world and make every change count. At Skills Mindset, the leading global skills, strategy and corporate development company, we believe that the mind has the potential of transforming the man from obscurity to prominence. It's the reason why we make skills our business. At Skills Mindset, we stand for change, for development and for success. We challenge, we inspire and we lead. With Skills Mindset, your limit is just the beginning. Welcome to Skills Mindset. For more information about the great service we provide, please visit our website on www.skillsmindset.com or give us a call on our UK number on 07957 676 193. Better still, send us an email on info@skillsmindset.com. Skills Mindset. Challenging limits, maximizing opportunities.
Where is stage? Where are we on stage? Sorry. Just want to move us on stage. Hello.
The world is changing, and so does change. But the mind has the potential to capture the changing world and make every change count. At Skills Mindset, the leading global skills, strategy and corporate development company, we believe that the mind has the potential of transforming the man from obscurity to prominence. It's the reason why we make skills our business. At Skills Mindset, we stand for change, for development and for success. We challenge, we inspire and we lead. With Skills Mindset, your limit is just the beginning. Welcome to Skills Mindset. For more information about the great service we provide, please visit our website on www.skillsmindset.com or give us a call on our UK number on 07957 676 193. Better still, send us an email on info@skillsmindset.com. Skills Mindset. Challenging limits, maximizing opportunities.
Yes. Just waiting for how I can just add myself. This is wow. No. Oh, Jesus. I thought I did this last time. I've missed the way. My apologies. Sorry about this. It's never happened to me before. Don't know why this is happening this way. Media.
Hey, you Larry Ivy.
Hi. Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
It's your own mic, the one that goes out for.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, good evening, everyone, or good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining us from. We are in now for this year, first month of the year, masterclass, Skills Mindset Masterclass. Sorry for that inch in the, in IT. We tried to sort out things and it's been done now. Sorry about that. Apologies. Yes, we want to start. The Skills Mindset Masterclass January 2025. It's been brought to you from the studio of Skills Mindset. So the title or the topic we are looking at today, we are going to be treating today, is rebuilding yourself and repositioning your business for greater impact in 2025 and beyond. And I believe you all can hear me. I guess, can you hear me as well?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Yeah.
So, welcome and greetings to everyone in attendance with us live, and to those who will be, listening and watching the replay, on all our platforms. We are delighted to have you join us for another live session of incredible and transformative Skills Mindset Masterclass. As we will always do, please let us know where you are joining us from, the city, and of course, the country you are joining us from. Just put it in the comment section so we can, recognize you, as we will always appreciate you for joining us live. Yeah, so please let us know where you are joining us from. Let us know the city. Let us know the country you are joining us from. Okay, that will be very, very good for us to know, and then also it's good for us to know who the people we are dealing. We're speaking with tonight, and to those who will be listening to this afterwards. So it's another awakening moment. Such a time that we embark on a journey together to explore the power mind results, of experienced experts. It is such a great experience together where we will be unlocking and uncover an enhanced opportunity for skills development, business progression, professional growth, and of course, leadership for everyone. So today, our purpose is to again bring attention to a vital subject that can greatly influence our performances and impact on our businesses, how to thrive in 2025 and beyond, leveraging on innovation, personal branding, and strategic leadership to stay ahead of the curve. So we will focus on rebuilding yourself and repositioning your business for greater impact this year, 2025. And of course, beyond. This will actually and definitely encourage deep, actionable insights and inspire progress as we embark on our journey this year. Our guest today is someone I have known and worked with for many years and will continue to partner with. A highly skilled and proficient professional who possesses extensive and needed knowledge in this area of business and personal improvement. Please join me in welcoming our guest today, Dr. Adeyinka Okude. Dr. Okude, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a
Yeah.
pleasure to be here tonight.
Thank you. So Dr. Okude retired from the university after 19 years of dedicated service to academia or in academia. His extensive experience and commitment to both education and community service have left a lasting impact on many lives. Spoken at numerous conferences and meetings, consistently showcasing his ability to engage audiences audiences effectively. In the charity sector, he focused on strategic planning and the execution of initiatives designed to improve community service, welfare, and of course, while highlighting his dedication to social justice. As a performance and insight manager, he demonstrated exceptional analytical skills by employing data-driven approaches to enhance organizational efficiency and effectiveness. Additionally, Dr. Kude's ongoing involvement in ministry further emphasizes his passion for service and leadership. Once again, you are welcome to your first live skills mindset masterclass. It's such an honor to have you, such a privilege to be able to get your attention and then get you into the studio today, where you want to willingly share your experiences and expertise with us, and of course, benefit from your wealth of knowledge in this regard. And so I know your time is so precious, and I know our listeners' times are precious as well. But to have been able to give us a little time of your busy schedules to do this, I think we are not taking it for granted. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for coming to share your experience and your expertise with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yes, again, while we settle in, we just we want our listener to have a bit of understanding of who our guest is, and that's why I've done that introduction. But perhaps there are a few things you would like to share, about yourself, particularly in the area of what you are doing now and why you are doing it, and then we will then go into the session at some point. If you have a few minutes to say something about yourself, well, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me once again. And I'm also not taking it for granted that I've been invited today to share ideas together with our audience. Maybe what I just want to add is the fact that what we shall be talking about today is something I have lived, I've practiced, and I'm still practicing. And I'm hoping that at the end of the meeting, at the end of this masterclass, each and every one of us can see, take one or two things out of it, and then begin to live with it. And maybe when next we meet again on this same master class, then we can always look back and say and state that we have actually been blessed today. And so we are all going to be learning together because, I mean, that is part and parcel of repositioning and rebuilding. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Um, yes, what a wonderful way of getting our audience to meet with you, and of course to know who the stuff in which you are made up of, and the expectation in terms of your delivery tonight. So I want to welcome you, and I want to thank you. While we are doing that, we are settling in, and I'm welcoming our people joining us from YouTube, from Facebook, from LinkedIn, and all our platforms. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your attendance. Thank you so much. We have Oasis with all joining us from Midway. We have Victoria joining us from Essex. We have Jumis 3 joining us from London. Dari, yes, always in the house, joining us also from Essex. Thank you so much for joining us. Others will be joining us. These are the people joining us on YouTube at the moment. Some people on Facebook, we don't see their name yet. And then, of course, some people joining us from LinkedIn. So if you are LinkedIn people, please let me see you joining. Let me see you saying something so that I know that you are here with us today. Thank you so much. And I know that a lot of us, or some of us, will be, having to listen to this again and again, which is very important. And to those who will be watching the replay, we say you are welcome as well. As anytime you are watching it, you are always welcome. Thank you so much. So without further ado, let's deep dive. Let's deep dive into the business of the day. We will be discussing rebuilding yourself and repositioning your business for greater impact in 2025 and beyond. Now, the world, as our guest, I believe you will agree with me on this. The world is evolving at an unprecedented pace. Market dynamics are shifting, consumer behaviors are changing, and personal growth is more critical, even at this moment than ever. So, whether you are an entrepreneur or executive or a professional seeking to elevate your influence, this session will equip you with the strategies to rebuild, realign, and of course, reposition both yourself and your business for sustained success. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us warmly welcome Dr. Adeyinka for his presentation. Thank you, sir. So you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I'm just wondering if there's a way we can enlarge um, the slides.
Yes, if the moment you click on this slideshow, you should have your slide up.
Okay,
You have
right.
it up now? Yes.
Oh, yes, fantastic. Thank you once again for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight and to share with our audience, to share with ourselves on the topic rebuilding and repositioning yourself and business for, of course, 2025 and beyond. And as we can see from the topic itself, it is obvious that rebuilding involves re and building. In other words, it kind of describe what we can call reconstruction. Reconstruction, an existing building that needs to be rebuilt. In other words, we are reconstructing an existing building. I mean, if you use that, and that's why other words that are often used for rebuilding, reconstruction is what we call transformation. In other words, you want to change or you want to have a makeover from where current existence to a new level, to a new dimension. That is what we call rebuilding. It involves transformation. And of course, individuals and businesses are always transforming. And that's why you see every successful business have transformed from one phase to the other. And it's also involved, whether it is business or individual, what we call upgrading. In other words, improvement of self. You want to ensure that you are not remaining on the same position. You are not stagnant. It means you are moving forward. You are upgrading. You are improving yourself. You are improving yourself or of your businesses. There's an improvement. There's a change, positive direction, movement towards a positive direction. And of course, it also involves innovation. Rebuilding involves innovation, it involves invention, it involves modernization, doing things in a new way, doing something in a newer way, in a new, better, new, and of course, new and better way. In other words, it involves developing new ideas or of solving a known or unknown problem. And when talking about ideas, I'm sure that a couple of us, I mean, we will realize, for instance, how innovation of communication method that became relevant during COVID. Zoom existed before COVID, but most people didn't know anything about Zoom. Most people didn't know anything about Microsoft Teams. Most people didn't know anything about. But suddenly, that innovation became a blessing. And of course, what do you see? You then see that the value of the company skyrocketed when everybody began to download Zoom, began to download Team, because that is what you talk about innovation. It existed as a small innovation that eventually nobody knew there was going to be COVID that would promote Zoom or any of those. And again, rebuilding can also mean rejuvenation, in other words, renewal, revitalization, putting in new impetus to ensure that you move from where you are to another level that is beyond what you who you are or what your business are. That is a we can say that is rebuilding. And if you and that takes us to repositioning. And because we have rebuilding and repositioning, so repositioning also has been described as changing image of a company product to target or to target a new or wider market. So what that means is that repositioning means changing your position in a business. A business begin to change its position in such a way to target new or wider market. It could be that the business originally was meant, of course, we start from a certain location, capture that market, and then suddenly it realized that his scope has to go beyond the local immediate market. And so you want to reposition. And what that often means adaptation to a new location. You will realize, for instance, that companies such as McDonald's operating in countries in Islamic nation will probably reposition his market or his product to ensure that only halal meat are served or only things that are acceptable in an Islamic country are served. That is trying to target a new market. So a company may reposition its product or such as to capture a new market. And that's why sometimes repositioning involves what we call rebranding. Rebranding meaning changing of name or image or logo or just something different that will rebrand. And that can even happen when a company might be going through challenges, and then suddenly they realize that that name is going to give them some problem, and they rebrand, change their name, sometimes just changing their color. They can change the color, and then it becomes a new organization. They can change the composition of the management. I mean, that is rebranding. They can begin to do things that are different. So they rebrand, and that's a major development in most any organization that want to grow its market, grow its influence, must be ready to rebrand, must be ready to move, reposition. And that's why it's been said that every progressive business knows that they cannot continue to offer the same product or services the same way forever and expect to widen their market or enter a new market, because the expectation is changing. Over time, you find out that even the community, even the age distribution are changing. People that started with the company decades ago are no longer there. You now have the youth who may have a different expectation. Therefore, the market could be changing as a result of demographic change. And that is why repositioning, you need to reposition yourself to capture the new market, or the new market which could result from demographic changes. So repositioning is vital for every organization. Rebranding is important for any successful organization. You can never remain the same and expect, as it often been said, you can't continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome. Therefore, there is always, and besides, there is also competition. So you cannot a company must not be left behind when others are changing. And that then takes us to a typical example, a case study of a company that has been noted to be masters of repositioning, and that is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is a company that knows how to reposition itself. It's always evolving, because repositioning also includes evolving. Is evolving over time, is evolving over century, is evolving over products, is evolving over management, is evolving over even the franchise. So that is Coca-Cola. No wonder it is perhaps the most recognized brand in the world. There is no other brand that compares with Coca-Cola. Why? Because it has continually made itself relevant through rebranding, through repositioning, through various changes. And I'll be surprised if there's any one of us here who doesn't take Coca-Cola products, not necessarily Coke, but other brands that come from that company. And that is a very good example of a product, or of an organization, of a business that has learned the importance and the necessity and the relevance of repositioning. As we probably must have heard, the first Coca-Cola was served on May 8, 1886 in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. And you can imagine, as of now, that company has remained. Thousands of companies that must have come and gone within those years we're talking about, but Coca-Cola has remained. Why? Because they are always repositioning. They are always repositioning continually. And of course, the repositioning could also have been a result of competition. They never want to be left behind. And then suddenly, in 1982, because there came a time a lot of people were complaining about the sugar content. And of course, people are becoming more conscious of their healthness. People are becoming more conscious about the need to take less sugar. Then they brought into the market the one they call Diet Coke, to cater for those who love the taste but are health conscious. And then that again, so we can see here now They are capturing a new market that the older product, the regular Coca-Cola, can no longer serve their interest. We had some who used to drink the regular Coca-Cola, but suddenly because of health concern, they no longer can take it. And that is where you then have the Diet Coke to take care of that market. Of course, there are competitions from other products, but Coca-Cola has always remained. Now, as a result, of course, of the competition from other markets, other products, like we have just been reminded again here by one of our professors, Pepsi were there. We have Pepsi, you have Dr. Pepper, you have other products that are also competing. However, because they have remained, because of that competition, what you then find is that Coca-Cola started making other brands. Currently, Coca-Cola has about 35 brands, which is what we're talking about rebranding. They have 35 other products, which can be categorized into 5 major subcategories, where you have the soft drinks, the sparkling soft drinks that many of us are familiar with. Then you then have the coffee and tea as a section. You then have waters and hydration, juices, dairy and plant-based, and alcohol ready to drink. That is the categories of products that Coca-Cola have gone into. That is how to reposition yourself in the market. If it has remained just producing Coca-Cola, Fanta, Sprite, and all that, there is no way the influence of Coca-Cola can be global. For instance, when you look at Coca-Cola, for instance, it is the only product that you have in almost all nations of the world, except for 2 countries, Cuba and North Korea, which understandably, these are communist countries for obvious reasons that have things against America. And so anything that comes from America will never be supported. So you have those 2 countries. So beside those 2 countries, you have Coca-Cola in over 200 countries of the world. That is what we're talking about repositioning, rebranding, ensuring that they capture different markets for different purposes. So that is why that Coca-Cola now is almost is synonym. There's nothing that can compare Coca-Cola when it comes to branding and repositioning. Let me just show us a sample of some of the products that Coca-Cola currently produces. I'm sure that if we were before today, if we were asked to list what products come from Coca-Cola, many of us may not even understand, may not know that a lot of some other stuff that we take are actually brands of Coca-Cola. In fact, until I started even this work, I never knew some of these. Of course, I didn't know all of these are from Coca-Cola. Ade's appetizer, that's it's new in the market, but I'm sure that most of us who have tasted it love appetizer. Aquarius, Dungadam, Fiafi, Fanta, Banks, Fresa, Fresco Muse, Coca-Cola, Costa, Gold Peak, Coke. Just mention a lot. All of these are products of Coca-Cola as a result of the need for them to reposition, to capture, like we mentioned earlier, some of these other brands. When they started with the first category, which is just the sparkling drink. Then suddenly, they now realize that there's competition along the soft drink sector. There is Pepsi fighting them to their name, competing with them. There's Dr. Pepper, there's other products, local products in many countries, and so they diversified. That is what we mean repositioning, trying to ensure that they capture different audience and different markets. That is what every organization, so for us as individuals and for us as business owners, we must get to the point that we also always thinking ahead, always knowing that we cannot get better if we remain a sole product. Any product, any organization that has just a product is very, very risky. Any product, any organization that just sells one product can easily collapse as a result of sudden change in the political environment or economic environment. So, which is why we see Coca-Cola still as relevant as it is. till tomorrow. Now, if we've looked at Coca-Cola as a brand that has repositioned, that is the repositioning and rebranding and branding has caused it to be one of the most globally recognized business in the world. Now, let's look at another organization that also had at a point in time dominated the world. Then suddenly they failed to rebrand, and then they lost the market. And that's the case of Nokia. When the mobile world started in the early 90s, globally, Nokia was the forefront. As a matter of fact, many of us, our first set of phone were actually Nokia 3310. It is a reputable mobile phone. It was so relevant anywhere in the world because it was durable. Durable. As a matter of fact, that was one product that, even as of today, people still talk about Nokia 3310. That was what Nokia was. They ruled the world. They ruled the world of mobile phone. There was no competition. They were on their own, at their own level. It was like there was no other competitor, even though there are other products. They appear invincible. It appears they are untouchable. It appears they are unreachable. Other organizations, other companies could not come near them. So for about 15, 16 years, up to 2006, they were on top of the game until the appearance of other products, newer products. But because they were complacent, they lost the plot. They refused to recognize that others are also going into the business, or they believed that they were invincible. Then we came, probably now the ultimate iPhone. Apple came in 2007 thereabout, and others like HTC, Samsung, and others. Until they appear onto the stage, Nokia believed it was impossible. And since then, we now find that we then find these other companies outpacing Nokia to the point that Nokia, I'm not sure there's anybody in this audience who probably have any Nokia phone anymore. You really, I can't remember when last I saw anyone carrying Nokia phone anymore. But ask about Apple. If you were to take survey, you probably, more than half of the people here will probably be carrying an Apple. And some of us could have even used different brand of Apple, iPhone 1, iPhone 2, iPhone whatever. And now we have on Apple iPhone 16. So that was a mistake from Apple. Has something to be, of course, it appears Apple and Samsung have learned from the mistake of Nokia. No wonder Apple is always constantly repositioning itself in the market by coming out with new products. Almost every year, you probably have two iPhone. Now is iPhone 16. I'm very sure in the next 3 months, you have iPhone 17 or iPhone 18 before the end of the year. That is what we call repositioning. And when you look at the differences between these various iPhone, you will actually find out that it's just a little modification, adjustment to the phone camera, adjustment to the language. Just put a little thing, and then they call it another level of iPhone. And of course, people are rushing. And when they want to launch the iPhone, you will find out that they made so much noise about it. A lot of people are actually queuing on the day it's going to come out. Why? Because they've so repositioned themselves to the point that people actually can appear not to do without it. Until European Union begin to make a law. When Apple started, they made sure that their cable cannot be used by any other phone. Until EU now has mandated every phone manufacturer to use the same. So invariably, what you then have is that everyone want to have iPhone. Everyone to have iPhone. And you see people changing iPhone every 6 months. As they bring in one, they go back, trade it in, take another one. It is because, and we have people now who cannot do without iPhone. Of course, there are other ones coming to the market. We have Samsung. Samsung is wonderful. It's going. We have Huawei. We have other names, but none has been able to take iPhone off the stage. Oh, yes, thank you. We have BlackBerry. BlackBerry also came at one point, of course, also failed. Thank you very much for that reminder. That tells us about how, but why there are others are coming and going away, Apple, iPhone has remained. And you know what? Just like Coca-Cola, what you now find Apple doing is that they now have branded into different products. Apple now has 15 other products. We have iPhone, we have iPad, we have Apple Watch, AirPods, Mac Pro, AirTag. I mean, they have also branded into various. Why? Because of the risk we're talking about. That every business that remain in just one position is going to run into trouble. So you now have iPhone making other products. And for now, just like you have Coca-Cola being a reputable name, Apple is about one of the most successful business currently in anywhere in the world. Why? Because they made themselves, they repositioned themselves to the point that everyone who wants a good phone will probably consider Apple. Then, of course, Samsung are also doing marvelous well. So that tells us about the case of how repositioning can help an organization to capture the market, widen its market, ensure its sustainability, ensure that they are continually relevant. That is what each business owners, each individual must be prepared to do. We must be prepared in this year 2025 and beyond. And I guess the most recent of all this shock is the China DeepSeek AI. Some of us who have been listening to the news in the last 1 week will have heard about how the DeepSeek AI has disrupted the market. The arrival of DeepSeek V3 version 3 from China this month disrupted the AI industry and the American dominance of the industry. Prior to their coming out, the American ChatGPT market, AI industry, assumed that it was impossible for anybody to break their hold on the AI industry. Then suddenly, China preparing itself secretly or just taking their time, came into the market. As at Monday, 28th of January, which is this last few days, DeepSeek became is top the download, Apple Store's downloads. If I got a point that it was eventually difficult to download it because it almost crashed Apple Store. So everybody wants to have a taste of DeepSeek Volume 3. And it was said that on that Monday, between Monday and Tuesday, that almost about $1 trillion value of US tech stock was wiped out because of the arrival of DeepSeek Volume 3. That is how sometimes complacency, confidence that you are alone in any industry can ruin any industry. So every industry must keep repositioning. And even though we know that currently some of these companies are picking up gradually, but the loss still remain. And one other thing that actually happened was the fact that even the DeepSeek AI was able to come out with almost a similar product at a fraction of the amount of money that was used by the other people. And of what do you now see? You now see Microsoft, Bill Gates and others saying, oh, they stole their idea. They probably steal their product or their patent. But the fact remains, which is why we talk about there's a need for repositioning, that you never can be so sure. Any organization that keep rebranding without diversification, without going to other industries, without expansion, without coming out with new product may have problem. And so then, having looked at all the various organizations, the successful organization, and those that we have seen how they lost the plot in the industry, because the idea of this master classes that each and every one of us can look at how we as ourselves or as a business owner can ensure that we learn, we share this idea, and then we can then go back and implement it and ensure that we are part of those that can be counted as successful like Coca-Cola and not those that are unsuccessful like Nokia. So one of the reasons why we need to rebuild and reposition ourselves and business is because no one has the monopoly of ideas, at least not forever. And so we cannot be complacent. What do we mean here? It means that you may have the initial idea, but never believe that you are the only one that have that idea. It might just be that you came out before others. And so to assume that you are the only one that has the monopoly of ideas will be a fallacy. And at best, you may be able to patent it, but you just find out that most patent has a life shelf. You can have 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years patent. But one day that patent will expire and it will be open for the rest of the world to copy or to modify. So we must always, nobody has the monopoly. And I sort to assume that, oh, I'm the first person to produce this product, therefore no other person will do it, will be a mistake. Then the second one is the political, economic, and climate can change. You know that our political and economic climate can change. Unexpected events can happen, like we all saw in the case of COVID, that disrupted the world generally. We have some businesses that collapse totally as a result of COVID. And we have some businesses that rose up, that boomed during COVID. We made the example of Microsoft Teams or Zoom. Zoom has become so popular now because of, and that is how we see how political economic can change. And of course, we can also have problems politically. I'll give a typical example is the case of TikTok. TikTok, for instance, for those of us who are following American news, realize that just a couple of days before Biden left, TikTok was banned in America on the Sunday before he left. But because they helped Donald Trump to win the election, he said we're going to give them 75 days grace. But he opened it and he said we're going to give them 75 days. So that tells us about that anything can happen in business. So for some few hours or about a day, TikTok was actually out of the American market. That is what politics can do. And of course, health issue. Then another thing why we need to rebuild and reposition ourselves is because the competitors are not resting. Our competitors are not resting. For instance, Coca-Cola, as popular as it is, if we were to remain as the only product that Coca-Cola were selling, then they probably would not have been at the level they are now because other brands are competing with them. Pepsi Cola is giving them a tough fight. We have Dr. Pepper, which is number 3 in the industry. We have other local products in other countries of the world. So because of that, they cannot afford to rest. And you can see a lot of promotion, competition. That is, the competitors there will always be competitors for every industry. And that is the reason why we can, as an industry, as an individual, as an individual, it's also important. We cannot be complacent that we are the only one that has the skill set. We are the only one that has the same ability. No other competitor. There will always be other competitors. And of course, there's also that competition. Another reason why we need to rebuild and reposition ourselves and business for years to come from 2025 onward is the fact that our competitors may undercut us. That is why you find that even the DeepSeek AI we're talking about, how it was based in China where you can have cheap products. They have undercut ChatGPT dominance. They were able to produce at a fraction of the amount that was involved because we are not sure whether it's right or wrong, that they probably see some idea from ChatGPT or Microsoft AI, nobody knows, but the fact remains that they are able to undercut them, and now they have taken over they are trying to take over the market. And of course, it's also important for us to listen, study our opponents. Every industry, every business, every individual that wants to reposition and rebid must, of a truth, know that you need to know your opponent's strength and weaknesses, which is very vital. One way by which these successful businesses are doing well is because they study themselves. They know, check it. If a product comes out from Apple today in iPhone, before you know it, Samsung will do something similar. And of course, sometimes better. That is what your opponents will do. So there's always competition or striving. You must ensure that you continually ensuring that you don't take your eyes off your opponent. Then listen to your critics. Every organization or business that want to reposition themselves must learn to listen to your critics or people that are not your cheerleaders. Why? Because they may likely see your blind spots that your supporters or cheerleaders may not see, or may decide not to see, or may decide not to tell you, which is why that sometimes criticism is the best way to make progress. Some will make malicious criticism, okay, that's okay. But you may be surprised that even out of that malicious criticism can come an idea for how that business can reposition itself to capture such market. So that is also important, that we need to listen. Then we must learn and relearn, either as an individual to rebuild ourselves, or an industry or a business. For them to reposition themselves, we must learn and relearn. What that means is that we must be prepared to change with new ideas. New ideas keep coming out every moment. Every time there's new idea coming up, and you cannot afford to be left behind. And that's where the issue of IT, I'm sure that a lot of people are not talking about AI. Every organization now must be involved in the movement. Yes, you find out that a time will come when you are going to be irrelevant, because we are going to the digital age. Any industry that's failed to learn, and that's also affecting individuals, the generation will have now our AI generation. And for every individual, every business must ensure that they are learning and they are relearning, they are changing, they are moving with time, they are not left behind. That is what we need to do as individuals to rebuild ourselves, as a business to reposition ourselves. We must learn and relearn. We must be prepared to do things differently. We must be prepared to know how to change with time and not remain the same. And of course, also there may be a need for physical or mental location. In other words, location means physical, may mean that a particular business, for instance, may start from, say, United Kingdom, and realize that it's no longer profitable, and then shift your location. That's what we saw during the post-industrial revolution, where countries, products manufactured left United Kingdom and went to countries like India, like Malaysia. Most of the textile you wear now come from Malaysia. They come from Malaysia. They come from Bangladesh. They come from, why? Because sorry, it's not Malaysia. I was talking about Bangladeshi, Pakistan, and maybe India. Those are the countries now. Why? Because they know that they are no longer efficient in the United Kingdom. That is what we mean by you may be prepared. You may need to change your physical location in order to be profitable as part of repositioning. Similarly, there might be a need for mental location, a change of mental location. What we mean here is that the way of thinking may have to change. For instance, we are talking about ways of working now. The era of 5 days in the office is almost gone now. So there are some younger generation who are not going to take a job that will expect them to be in the office 5 days a week. So as a business, you must be prepared to be flexible, to accommodate younger generation who are likely to be looking for opportunity, to be flexible in their approach of working. That is, I mean, some organizations are even trying 4 days a week. That is part of what we talk a mental relocation. You are mentally now becoming conscious, aware that things cannot be done the way it used to be done before. That is part of changing of mental location. And for every organization, is that for repositioning, sometimes you also need to, if you want to make progress and if you want to be sustainable, then sometimes you also need to reposition or rebuild. As an individual, as a business, we know that we must be prepared. We must learn from the failings of companies that have refused to grow, that have refused to reposition, that have refused to do things differently. We must continually be looking for way of improving, looking for way of turning around our fortune. And we must be ready, prepared, even to fail. That's part of the thing that comes with repositioning. You may try a repositioning strategy and it didn't work. That's not the end of it. You try again. And that's why you often find that many of these successful businesses also, in the process of repositioning, sometimes may suffer loss, but sometimes it's temporary. These losses may be temporary. It may be what they need to get to their next level. So either for rebuilding or for repositioning, we must be prepared to learn. We must be prepared to fail in our strategy. We must be prepared to start all over again. That is what it's all about, repositioning. Learning to pay the price. I mean, there's always a price that you may need to pay to accomplish, to achieve the ultimate goal of sustainability, ultimate goal of progress, ultimate goal of improving, ultimate goal of doing differently, ultimate goal of being different from other organizations. That is what we all, as individuals, as businesses, need to put into practice this year and beyond if you want to get to the point that will become recognizable names or recognizable business or sustainable business. And that is that is part of the idea that we need as individual and businesses in going forward from now on. And I think I'm going to stop there for now. Thank you very much for listening to me. I'm hoping that I'll be hearing some comments that we can all share together. Thank you so much.
Wow, that's good. Thank you so much. Thank you for a well presented a section there. That's a truly masterclass you've just done there. Thank you so much, I guess.
Thank you very
And
much.
I'm sure that you will see that a lot of people are enjoying the presentation. They're getting nugget from the tips you are releasing, and of course that's why they're engaging in the presentation, and of course having their views expressed in the comment sections, and of course being projected, as it were. And I know that there are a lot of people who may have one or two questions to ask, truly, particularly. I mean, it could be a specific question. It could be a question that is particular to you, or things that you really want to do, and how you want to do it. I mean, we're looking at two aspects of it now, in terms of your personal development and also in terms of your business, because I find it difficult for you to grow in spite of your business. And I also find it very challenging for your business to grow in spite of you. I think both has to go together. And whatever that business means, it not necessarily means that you are into manufacturing things. It could just be, brand. I mean, yourself is your brand, is your business. It could be whatever you do. How do you want to progress that, and how do you want to reposition that so that you are not left behind? Now, the whole essence of it is not because you are even thinking of being left behind, but that you want to progress. Because if others are not moving, you still have to move. Does that make sense? So it's all about you moving. So regardless of what is happening around you, of course, what is happening around you is very central to how you want to navigate as well. What you want to do, how you want to do it. essentially is not necessarily all about your interest. It's also about the interest of the community and the world that you serve. So friends, send in your questions now. It's an opportunity to ask questions. You can put it in the comment section, and our guests will be able to pick it up, and then of course be able to throw more light on your questions. We appreciate that if you can do that. And of course, if anybody has got an idea of any question that is being posted or projected, please feel free to share your views on that, so that we all learn together and grow together. I mean, he said it that one of the key steps to take in terms of personal improvement and growth is to learn and to keep learning. So I can tell that one way to growth is learning. I mean, keep learning. And we also say something in sales: the more you learn, the more you earn. So, and that's position you in to be. It's a strategic position as well to market yourself. And when it comes to business, the big idea is to ensure that you can embrace innovation, so that you can survive and make impact. So, friends, let the question comes in. People are saying to our guests that thank you, Dr. Okude, well presented.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So people are enjoying it.
Thank
I'd like
you so
to
much.
welcome and acknowledge Professor Adebiyi Abosede as well. Always some support, always joining us.
Thank you, sir, for coming.
So all the way from Nigeria, you're welcome. We appreciate your contributions, and then of course your wealth of experience and knowledge share even in this Skills Mindset Masterclass every month. Thank you so much. So yes, friends, questions, because I would like our guest speaker to talk more about the key action uh, uh, points, or what are the action plans in terms of personal growth. I really want people to start from yourself, because to be honest, you can't change things around you if you don't change things within you. So and I know that one of commentators also said something about transforming innovation or rebranding or repositioning from within and also from without, internally or externally. Both has to go, but I think the powers and the propeller start from within, because you only can give what you have, and if you cannot project it, you cannot present it, so you cannot even achieve it. So what are the things that personally, or on a personal note, what are the things that in 2025, where we know that a lot of different things are happening, and we will be surprised and amazed at how much of things would change from this year as against what we have seen last year? Because the young, particularly among the youths, the level of their transformation in terms of things is so magnificent. I mean, I can't talk about the magnitude of the way they are trying to bring things up, and coupled with technology, with AI, I think a lot of things are happening. I just saw, was it yesterday, that one of the big banks in the UK is closing down over 100 branches. I mean, you can tell. And they said that the reason why they are closing down their branches is because people prefer to use their app than to come to their offices. So if you keep saying that you still want to be traditional or conservative in the way you do things, you're going to be paying bills, running bills, and nobody will be attending to you. So, and if you think you won't go through app approach, then they're just going to leave. I mean, look at how many digital and online banking competing with the traditional, conservative bank system that we have everywhere in the world. Nigeria, I also read, was it yesterday, the amount of digital transfer or transaction that people did within, I mean, last year is so massive that very soon all those high street buildings and banks on the street will be gone in a minute. So what are those things, that I think people are asking, or people are just commenting? Okay. I want people to ask questions, to be honest. Anyway, before the questions, before you talk about what people can do for themselves this year and beyond, I know you talked about learning. You talk about the reason, the need to improve and upgrade your skills. And of course, to learn more and relearn and all that. But if there's anything in terms of progression, in terms of startups, in terms of growth, or seeking for mentor, seeking for guidance, and of course in terms of thinking, strategic thinking as well. People don't think because I don't know whether it is too difficult to think through things, but again, anyway, before we get into that, I guess let me just read a few comments here to see whether that will help us here take some time out. Dr. Okude has done well. That's from Professor Adeyinka Abosede from Nigeria.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Okude has done well for the way, for he was very fluid and could easily move around the concept. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate that. Yes, Dari Shona said that looking at the current political and economic climate, which is very important, is Nigeria ready for the next level? What can the government do to leverage on the opportunities in the tech space, especially AI? I think they're not really doing badly. It could be better, but I don't know what your comment and your view will be on it. I guess.
Thank you very much. Is somebody speaking?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that? Yeah.
Okay. If I were to answer that particular question, I would like to say that Nigeria of yesterday is different from Nigeria of today.
Very
and true. The fellow, Tunji or whatever, who is the minister for digital or economy or whatever, that guy is doing a wonderful job. And of course, if you look at his background, that is his background, tech. And the way, if he continues at the rate he's going, you will be amazed about what will happen in Nigeria in the next few years, whether this regime. Let's give a typical example, and that is the passport issuance in Nigeria. Some of us never believed that we can get to a point within a short space of time where you may not have any need to go to the embassy to get your passport now. That tells us if they can do that within the last, I think they started in November, started with Canada and Australia also. But by the end of November, almost all nations can do that. That is within few months, less than 2 years, they came into power. So it means that if it continues, and there are a lot of things they are trying to do now. Let's even talk in the time past. If you have problem with your name, you have to go to the office, sometimes to go to Abuja. But now they've created a platform. You don't need to do anybody. Just go to the platform and then you key your thing and change your thing. Within a second and a half, your errors have been corrected. So all of those examples of things that are coming up now shows that Nigeria is not Nigeria of yesterday. There is that potential, and there is that, and it's been addressed, and there are evidence to show that Nigeria is actually on the right path. The example you also made, I read about that, about how a lot of Nigerians now are just doing digital banking, digital payment. And so we are getting to a point now that in the next, except for the older people, banking will get to the point that we have in the UK, where a lot of people will do a lot of their stuff online. Many people who are Nigerian, who are outside the country now, can do their transaction without being in Nigeria. Many people now have online banking that they do transaction. So that tells us that Nigeria is going in the right direction. I'm confident that the political and economic climate that we have in Nigeria is actually ready. Because, of course, again, you have to realize that Nigeria is full of younger generation. When you look at the IT space, Nigerians are marvelous. We are doing so great. The youth, and that's why you see many of our youth getting, I don't know if you are familiar with the fact that a lot of tech guys in banks have almost left Nigeria. Why? Because they are being taken all over the world because of their skill set. So that's telling us that we already have the people. All we just need is the infrastructure to get to the level that it can accommodate that people. We have the people, infrastructure is going at a pace, and hopefully, once we are able to overcome the issue of energy and all that, you'll be amazed about what Nigeria could do. Where we are going. So I'm seriously of the opinion that Nigerian government are already looking and are moving in the right direction regarding AI. Oh, yes. Thank you very good. Yeah, somebody helped me to Olubimi, Minister for Interior. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, that guy is doing marvelous job in that ministry.
Yes. Yes, I hope he will get to UK soon because I can tell you my experience. I applied for my renewal of passport. I
Yeah,
did that
yeah.
about, was it 2 days ago, and I was given 6 months appointment for my biometrics alone, let alone getting the passport. Anyway, we for the fact that we can get that in 6 months is even an improvement. Let alone that. But I can get what I can relate with what you're saying, and I'm happy that it's a right step in right direction, and I think with the support, we will get there. Another thing that is very crucial is that you see, government don't do. I mean, I don't believe that it is the responsibility of the government to drive to drive development. The government is just to provide the enabling environment and make things in terms of taxes and also in terms of infrastructure, internet, and all this Wi-Fi and all that. That their duty is to ensure that they can create an environment for business. Private individual sector actually drive the economy and drive things like this. And I mean, if you look at America too, if you want to talk about tech and IT and all that, now mentioning names rather than mentioning the government, you can see what Elon Musk is doing now in the world. I think it's just on another level now. With the anyway, we don't want to be too political with this, but again, it's all about technology and advancement. So thank you so much for that. Yes, I have some comments again or question that I just want to quickly read out here as well. I think we've done this one. Then Professor Abbas, they said at times repositioning or rebranding is externally imposed since it will be a response to their competitors, which is very true. But you see, the thing is that with me, I believe that you don't wait for your competitor to dictate the direction that you want to go. Otherwise, you'll be always reactive and not being proactive. You will be doing catch up every time. And you will be very lucky if they are not taking wrong step and you want to follow them to do that, So I think it's good. Why that is very good to be on the watch, on the watch of what is happening. Also try to be proactive and project into what you can do differently to stand out and to dare the system, to disrupt the status quo, and then of course do something different and new. I think it takes both step, both decision and strategy to get things done. While you are looking at external, factors in doing what you want to do as well. But you don't want the external factors to really dictate, what you do. You can actually be there to dictate for others to follow. I think that's another thing we can talk about.
Yeah,
again,
I just want if you want to add to that or support that, there are times where external can actually change a focus. I just want to give you a typical example. Prior to Donald Trump winning the election, remember at one time about a couple of years ago, Facebook banned Donald Trump from Facebook because the government at the time has changed. But immediately Donald Trump won now, Zuckerberg has warmed himself to Donald Trump. And of course, first remove him, then he changed his policy to say no more woke culture. That was all of the things they were banning and all that, because they know that the external system has changed. Is forcing Facebook to reposition based on externally imposed. So I just want to support the Professor Abbas to say that there are times where you are right, that it can happen.
Yeah, that's very true. Thank you so much. Then yes, there's another one. Is there a question? Yes, he said, Dr. Will AI not take away the humanity in us?
Well,
I think go ahead, sir.
I think that is the word you talk about, the ethics of AI.
Yeah.
There is an ethical issue with AI. And there are two sides to it. There are some who believe that AI is getting to a point that it might change humanity, or it might even replace humanity. And but from my experience of AI, you find out that there are a lot of them also still depend on human involvement. However, which is why some people say, oh, it's going to take our jobs. It's going to take away some jobs, but it's also going to create some jobs. So, and that's exactly what we're talking about, learning and relearning. In other words, we must also follow the trend. For instance, you can no longer say, oh, I'm not tech. Then you are going to be out of the conversation. If you are not tech, you say, oh, I'm not tech, I'm not. So you are going to be out of. I just want to give a typical example. For instance, that you talk about co-pilot in coding. That I'm involved in coding. And one of the tools that so people are now using is Copilot or AI to code for you. You will actually find that sometimes when you ask questions from AI and it generates the code, if you don't really understand the code itself, it will not make any meaning. Because most times what you see is that even the coding, the Copilot or AI will actually be giving you a disclaimer to say that they are not, don't take it to the bank. What I mean, that's my language now. In other words, you can't sue them for supplying you information that is not accurate. That's where there's that human need to know how to code, to be able to spot the error when AI is giving you wrong information and accordingly. But they can give you a prompt. So that's what AI will do. Give you a prompt. As human, you are then going to interpret and be able, so it makes your work faster. So AI, I don't believe. But of course, which is why one of the major discussion on AI usage now is the issue of ethical usage of AI. In other words, the ethics of AI in such a way that we still want to respect, for instance, the privacy of individuals and humanity and the fact that so what is going to happen is that we're going to exist side by side. It's just like when computer came. People will have thought, of course, we know that computer also took away the job of the so-called typist. Remember, in those days, there used to be what we call, some people call typist or stenographer or whatever. Computer took away their job. But he also created jobs for computer scientists. He created different level of jobs. So sometimes what is going to take away what we can call lower end job and create higher end job, which is why it is important for us also to be in the game. Never to yeah. So that's the thing. I think I hope that explains my
that's good. And I think it's just for one to up your skill. And we know AI is there. Everybody, just like I remember when I first started to type my own notes and my papers myself. It was like, wow, will I ever know how to do this? Because coming from a traditional culture where you give, like you said, you give your notes and material, longhand notes to somebody to type for you, and then you say this is not correct, go and retype and all that, to a point where you have to type your things yourself, and if it is not correct, you better deal with it yourself. So AI is here. So I think the most important thing is to definitely, it has come to stay. It will change a lot of narrative, change a lot of dynamics. It's also very important that we got to up our skill to be able to function along with it, or perhaps use it to our advantage in all that we do. And the aspect of it that I thought will be of a challenge, which I think Professor Bosede is also talking about in terms of humanity in us, is the creativity, the time to think. You think on different things. You write some things and you think about it. You think about strategy. You think about models. But you may not be able to have time to think like that, because why are you wasting your time to think and begin to have a headache when a system can just give you whatever you are thinking about, can think for you? That is where I think Professor Bosede is also coming from, to say, wow, so now you don't have, because younger ones in the next 5 years, 10 years now, the younger one will be telling you, why do I have to know my multiplication table? Why do I have to do that? When the system will give me the answer, why should I? Which is true. And that's what is going to happen to a lot of different things. Education system is going to change. The way we relate with one another is going to change. Things are changing, and that is for sure. Time and change is inevitable, or inevitable. We've got to deal with it. So, yes, another one is that in Nigeria, I think it's a question that has been there's been a shift. For example, I have not physically gone to any of my banks in the last 4 years. because of the online banking platform. Thank you. That's
Exactly.
exactly what it is.
Mm.
Here, for instance, I don't even I do everything on my phone, and I don't even take my bank card. I don't take cash,
Mm.
and that has happened for many years. So
Mm.
ongoing. So
Mm.
again, won't it demean what created AI?
Mm.
The
Yeah.
ingenious, yes,
Mm.
exactly.
Yeah.
The ingenious intelligence is what? Yes. Is it? Do you
If
want
I
to say
want to
something?
just to come in here again, I think the illustration raised by Professor Abosede as regards not being to the bank in the last 4 years. So what will probably happen eventually, which is where again the issue of humanity is that is creating what we can call social anomy. In other words, people are self-centered, are lonely, depressed, all by themselves because they don't interact with humanity anymore. They don't interact with anybody anymore. And that is why you can, if you look at it now, the rate of depression, the rate of suicide, the rate of even domestic abuse, because people don't interact with others. They are just in their room because they can do. In fact, I mean, the developed world now, even you can order anything, your food, you can order every food you're going to, your meal every moment. You can order your wear every moment. You can order your taxi. You don't need to leave your room to do anything. So invariably, you are not interacting with anybody. And so it's easier now for people to be lonely, depressed, miserable, and don't even have social skills anymore because they are all by themselves. So very true that that's another area where we need to be careful that there must be
Yeah.
intentionality in ensuring that we still don't lose our humanity to AI.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I think there are some other things, that mobile phones have affected physical interactions, of course. But you see, this another dimension to it is, you see, physical interaction in terms of what is created is a product of relationship. Actually, you are closer to somebody who is far away from you and distant from somebody who is very close to you. Because look at what we are doing now. I mean, we could have. I mean, it wouldn't have been possible if we had to organize physical meeting to do this. It wouldn't have been possible. And you can tell you are in about 1.5 hours drive away from where I am. And Professor Abosede and some others are, maybe 7 hours
Flight.
away flight away from where we are. I mean, but we can meet at a particular time and then of course discuss issues. But we have to wait and think about how we're gonna get together, the logistics, the cost, and the time. But this is what technology will do. Yes, we know that it's creating a kind of distance between, in terms of physical distance or, affecting physical distance between people or among people that are closer, but it's also established relationship with people who are distant, who are far from you. So again, it's all we take advantage of the situation and then use it to our advantage. Use whatever it is to our advantage. So I think we've done well today. Thank you so much. I'm not sure if there's any other question coming in. But again, very importantly, on your personal on the personal note, I just have this point there, which I believe may also help us in terms of action plan. Trying to get that from what you have presented, to say that, what, on your personal note, in terms of
Yeah.
reinvention, audit, evaluate your skills and mindset. That has to become, make sure that evaluation is concurrently
Yeah.
relating to what is going on now. Don't just say I know this, but know that within the context of what you should know. What's working, what's not working. Then what is working, just keep doing. What is not working, forget about it. There's no point to be conservative or traditional about what is not going to fetch you or lead you to anywhere. So what's holding you back? Them. Somebody was talking about an assessment of yourself, do a SWOT analysis, be practical, be realistic in terms of what you are doing. Let it be relevant to the current situation and dynamics. And then, of course, identify core values, align personal goals with professional aspirations. I mean, as long as we keep doing this, I think you are on the right path, you're on the edge, and then you can break through. So, yeah. Okay, that's the last one. So, yes, I don't know if you have any last words for us in terms of business. Resilience also. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think on a final note, as we mentioned, it is important for us to know that we have not yet attained. In other words, never get to the point that we believe we can improve. There is no room for improvement for us. Or when immediately we get to the point that we still can improve, then it's easier. And that's where the idea of self-evaluation, sincere self-evaluation is important. If you believe that there's a saying that the more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know, or how little you know. Because each time a new idea comes, oh, I thought I knew this. That is what it means, that for each and every one of us, for the years ahead, if you really want to reposition ourselves, if you want to rebuild ourselves, we must come to the point that we believe that we have not yet attained. We still can improve. We still can get better. We still can do things differently. And as a matter of fact, we are not too old to learn. We should always be eager to want to do things differently. And then we'll be, before you know it, we'll look back and say, oh, wonderful. So I think that's important, the key word, that we must never get to the point that we believe that we have attained, we can't learn anymore. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's very good. Thank you, listeners. Now, the key takeaways for me, and I think for all of us here today, and of course those who will be watching the replay, is that this masterclass has actually presented you with how to rebuild yourself. I agree with me in terms of strengthening your mindset, redefine your vision, and then develop resilience in the face of uncertainty. That's exactly why we are talking about this situation with AI and technology and all that, and automation as well, and of course on how to reposition your business, in terms of identifying new opportunities, refine your values, propositions, and of course create a blueprint for greater relevance and impact. So whether recovering from setbacks or simply seeking to scale it to a new height, today's masterclass has provided you with some actionable insight and practical tools to ensure you are not just keeping up, but you are actually leading the way. So get ready to unlock your full potential and build a future of significance and success. So thank you for attending and participating in this masterclass. I want to thank our guest speaker, our guest presenter today, Dr. Adeyinka Okude. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your experiences. Those who are participated in this, Professor Boss Dedare, Mr. Ola, Victoria, and other, I just want to appreciate you all for coming. We hope you have find it is stimulating and educational. What has been shared today offers opportunities for deep insight and actionable strategies that can inspire you to develop resilience, adapt, and keep moving forward, even after facing significant challenges. Rebuilding is not a sign of failure. It's proof of your willingness to evolve for greater impact. The world needs the best version of you and your business. So if you have any question, comment, or inquiries, please visit our website at www.skillsmindset.com and leave us a message. One of our team members will reach out to you. We encourage you to subscribe and follow us on all our various platforms so you don't miss any episode of our podcast and monthly masterclass. Encourage you to approach every moment with courage and optimism. Keep pushing your dreams with knowledge and unwavering passion. Until next time, next month, take care, stay blessed, and goodbye for now. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lawal. God bless you. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Thank you.
The world is changing, and so does change. But the mind has the potential to capture the changing world and make every change count. At Skills Mindset, the leading global skills, strategy and corporate development company, we believe that the mind has the potential of transforming the man from obscurity to prominence. It's the reason why we make skills our business. At Skills Mindset, we stand for change, for development and for success. We challenge, we inspire and we lead. With Skills Mindset, your limit is just the beginning. Welcome to Skills Mindset. For more information about the great service we provide, please visit our website on www.skillsmindset.com or give us a call on our UK number on 07957 676 193. Better still, send us an email on info@skillsmindset.com. Skills Mindset. Challenging limits, maximising opportunities.